Hey everyone, welcome to another Maze Esports cast. This is going to be a 1v1 Protoss versus Terran. I haven't done a lot of PvTs lately, so here is one for y'all today. It is going to be against MenaceFuzer and Grubby. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the Warcraft 3 pro scene, then you will be very familiar with this name, Grubby, one of the best Warcraft 3 players, one of my favorite to watch. He was great. He was one of my favorite pro esports players to begin with. So he's kind of the one that started it for me. So love the fact that he is making the transition into StarCraft 2. Definitely good choice there, Grubby. So let's take a look at this map right now. It is a PvT, and this is one of the GSL maps. And just to give a brief overview of the map, there are no high yields on this map, but tons of expanding opportunities and a very wide open middle ground here. So this is pretty much a battlefield with a couple of jukes for positioning in the middle, but not that much. You could do some positioning tricks here with Colossus, lots of Zone Watch Towers for good visibility, but note that the expansion here, very easily to just hop down here and take. This is not that difficult of a position to defend, especially with a bunker, so I'm sure the Terran player will be able to defend against that pretty easily, and rocks here, so it's pretty difficult to break down these rocks early in the game and go for a sneak attack onto an early expansion, but typically I have seen early expansions on this map with some macro style play. So that's probably what we are going to see today. Also note, guys, before I go any further, you may have noticed that I do have a Machinima Realm tag up on my screen right now. I am a Machinima director. I've recently gotten a partnership with them where I cast games on their channel occasionally. So I will be posting my games from there in my favorites list, and I'll be posting them on this channel sometime. So no, I don't have video ads on my personal videos, but there are video ads on the Machinima channel, so not to fret. I will be putting my own videos on here as well with much less advertising, so just keep that in mind for those of you who were worried about that. So yeah, I do have the Machinima partnership. Hopefully you guys come check it out. There are a lot of StarCraft 2 casters there as well. Crota casts on there, Force Strategy casts on there as well. So go check out that if you want to see some more StarCraft 2 replays. And one probe actually getting caught here by Fuzer and actually juking with the assimilator. So kind of an annoying move by the Protoss player. Definitely going to hurt him a lot because it looks like he was going for some early tech strategy here, getting a tech lab out quickly and actually getting a Reaper. So one Marine is probably not going to be able to destroy this assimilator in time for that Reaper to he might be able to spot this Reaper out. Let's take a look. Grubby, is he able to see that barracks? Not quite, actually. So the Reaper is actually going to be able to come out in time. However, definitely going to hurt his tech. Is that it seems that's what he wanted to do. Not really sure why he is opting to go for a Reaper in this game. I mean, a Stalker is pretty much the counter against that, and Grubby's definitely going to have Stalkers to deal with. However, if there are Stalkers coming up and trying to harass the Terran position, the Reaper is basically going to have free reign on this mineral line, so maybe that is what the Terran player is going for right now, and it looks like Grubby is definitely going to be falling ploy to that tactic. But right now the Stalker is basically just here by his Nexus, so he's probably going to be able to defend in due time. The Reaper here, not sure exactly where to strike because there are no Stalkers yet on the ground. One Zealot, though, and in danger of getting shot by the Reaper, but now getting back to his base safely, so not really sure what that Reaper is going to do besides scouting out the initial section of the map. Maybe you see that there is a Nexus there, but he's probably not going to be able to do that much economic damage. You do say it is going to be a 3-gate Nexus build right now for the Protoss player. The Terran player is actually getting, oh, excuse me, bam, love that little thing. Terran player is getting 3 racks going for Marauder. I think this is a much better build than going straight Marines against Protoss, especially on this map. It's pretty easy to transition into Colossus since this expansion is so easy to get. So definitely Marauders are a good call there. Grubby coming up right now might be able to harass on the strategy a bit, but note that I said that this is a great place for a bunker to be, because it pretty much secures this area. You can't really sneak by it. You can't really break down those rocks too easily over there. Taking a look at what is in production, we see Stim was researched as early as possible, so Stim is going to be on the way. It's one of the challenges for Protoss early on in the game is the fact that Terrans can get that really early push out with Stim, but also note that Stim was recently increased time for research, so that has definitely hindered that ability quite a bit. Engineering Bay coming out, so I think we are going to see a heavy Marauder strike force with early upgrades. I think that is definitely a great call. One thing that Grubby might want to consider as an alternative to that, maybe a couple of Immortals or maybe even some Void Rays would be great, which would force the Terran player to get some more anti-air support or at least some more Marines, which are a little bit more easier to handle when you're fighting with Stalkers and Guardian Shields. So I think Void Rays would be a good call here, but see what these players are going to actually Starport coming in right now, so it might be just a typical M&M with some upgrades. Note that this map is going to be a little bit different than your average playstyle just because of this easy accessible expansion. You are going to see a lot more tech early on and a lot more combined techs early on. Grubby scouting across the map, making sure there are no rogue expansions anywhere. Concussive shells are being researched for the Terran player. Grubby right now completely up on resources. Why is that? There are just so many more probes for Grubby right now, and actually going to be able to juke a couple of Stalkers here, at least 2, maybe 3 if he can slow them down enough. There's 1, there's 3, might even be able to get all 4 of these Stalkers. I think that is definitely a possibility, and oh, totally owned by MenaceFuzer as these Marauders and Marines are proudly walking back into their bunker to hail a victory drink against those Stalkers that basically just got pinned down and had no time to retaliate. Fantastic use of early Stim right there by MenaceFuzer. That's why I think that Stim and that Marauder choice is definitely going to help him out early. Grubby now reeling from that assault, but in terms of army size, but we do see that the income is up for Grubby. He might even be able to pick up a 3rd expansion pretty quickly. Note that the Terran player is marching across the map right now, so Grubby is probably going to be able to deal with this. He does have those warp gates. He does have a Colossus coming in, but it might be a little too late if the Terran player does have enough forces to drop in and deal with this. We see the dropships are on the way right now. Army size is actually 84, 254. One dropship might be able to come in here and snipe a couple of probes, but I think the Terran player is going to have to be wary about this. There is the drop. Might be able to get a pylon, might be able to get the robotics facility, but definitely not anymore since that Protoss player was able to reinforce his position, being annoying with those Marauders, but definitely got to be careful with that dropship right there because it would totally suck to lose 4 Marauders once you just had an awesome Stalker snipe like we saw early in the game. Taking a look at the Terran player right now, there are, it looks like it's going to be a combination of Vikings and dropships. I think that's definitely what he is going to need to do. And one dropship coming in and actually going to be able to get sniped down. These players are in toe-to-toe, even exchange. Great job by Grubby being able to catch that. Great job, maybe luck, maybe a bit of both, but definitely these players are in a pretty even spot right now in terms of how much they have lost. However, gotta say again, Grubby is definitely up on the economy, which means he's gonna be up in the tech, which means it's gonna be that much more difficult for the Terran player to deal with what Grubby's gonna be able to throw at him. Extended Thermal Lance is being upgraded. There is one Colossus on the map with a second one coming as well. A couple of Terran units coming in possibly for a Nexus snipe, but I don't think that that's really the best choice right now. If he actually is going for those destructible rocks, one Marine going back here, running away for his life. Might he lead this Protoss army, though, to his friends? Looks like that's not going to happen. One Zealot coming out to proudly scout and see what is going for Ire. Definitely going to get sniped, though. Might he be able to kill that Marine? No, that Zealot does get taken out in time. One proxy pound by here. Grubby definitely loves to do that. And a couple of Marines here, and now this Terran army is stimming away. Definitely going to have to run against those towering Colossus and all of those Zealots and Sentries with a bunch of Stalkers back here. Grubby is doing a fantastic job, might I add, that he does have these Stalkers back here in case there are going to be multiple drops. So he has split his forces very well. Stalkers here, Sentries, Colossus, and Zealots there. I think pretty perfect choice there to split. Taking a look at the income once more, it looks like it's actually going to be pretty even. He's just a little bit ahead because of mules, but note that a 3rd Nexus is on the way, which has actually just been luckily scanned by the Terran player. Those rocks are still up, but just barely. So the Terran player looks like he's trying to be aggressive as possible here. Definitely going to have to be careful on this north side here, though, because there are stalkers present. One SCV going to be going in for this next expansion. Actually, a Zealot Marine battle. Classic StarCraft if I've ever seen it before, but the Marine is going to win this one because the Zealot was basically just running around. Not sure why Grubby likes to use Zealots instead of probes to scout around the map, but I have seen him doing that a couple of times as he's doing that once more. But second expansion coming in for the Terran player right now, and a bunch more gateways in production for Grubby. Definitely going to be going for that heavy ground assault. He does have 2 forges up. He is upgrading his level 1's weapon as well as armor, and charges on the way as well. I think the Terran player is going to be hard pressed to deal with everything that the Protest player has got right now, because currently there are 3 Colossus and looks like 5 Vikings. So I always like to say that you should have about 2 Vikings per Colossus so that it's almost equal, but that there are a decent amount of Stalkers and Sentry as well to deal with moving around the Terran force. And here comes this Templar Archives is probably going to get sniped. Bad news for Grubby right now. There's only Stalkers here. The Terran player, or the Protest player, is going to be moving in his Colossus here, but definitely a very good job. Going to be sniping that Protoss Templar Archives, and Colossus coming in after losing a bunch of Stalkers, however. I think this is going to be a pretty good assault for the Terran player. Might even be able to snipe out a Colossus. One more hit, he might be able to get that down. One Viking does go down. Taking a look at the resources that were lost there, the Protest player is definitely behind. He's actually not behind in income. I was about to say that, but he does have this base saturated and up and running. Another one coming in as well. Grubby definitely not letting up on the expansions. That is one thing I was worried about as a Warcraft player, since you expand less, that he might have trouble with. But actually, he has been expanding very well. I've noticed this in his games. He's always up on expansions, always matching Zerg players. So he has done a fantastic job here. And I like the Terran players' use of dropship play here, always keeping the Protest player on his toes, using that dropship mobility along with stim for fast assaults. So one Photocana actually going to be sniped here before it's able to finish. A little bit unlucky here, but Zealots are coming in time to charge. There are no Stalkers to blink and take this position. A Vikings coming and trying to snipe this Colossus. I like what the Terran player is trying to do. I just don't know if that he has enough strike force to deal with that, even though sentries are getting in on the action right now. And actually, 2 dropships do get spotted. Grubby, great anticipation right here. Grubby knows exactly what the Terran player is doing, and he knows exactly, he's anticipating his moves fantastically. So I think at this point, it's really just going to come down to once Grubby is maxed out, once Grubby is fully teched, once he has good positioning, enough proxy pylons, enough expansions to be a little bit more forceful and take control of the game. Because he's going to have that strong economy to deal with it. But the Terran player might be saying enough is enough, and he might be going for some Nexus sniping here right now, maybe even eventually making his way into this area right here. Maybe even just going for the main base immediately right away. Colossus might get caught here. One Colossus very dangerously close to getting caught, and definitely going to get sniped down by those Vikings. Protoss going to lose another Stalker here. There are only 2 Vikings on the map, 2 Colossus on the map, but there are Templar. They do not have enough energy for Psystorm yet. Is going to just take a couple of seconds. I think that is definitely the unit that Grubby needs in this matchup. Love the switch to High Templar immediately. Gotta watch out though, because those High Templar are definitely dangerously close to getting sniped out. Lots of reinforcements, lots of tension in this game right now. Gonna be breaking these rocks at least in case he needs to move around. The Terran force a little bit caught off guard, getting a couple of Marines there, maybe even a Marauder. A Marauder was taken out as well. A lot of Vikings definitely oversaturated on the Vikings. Colossus are almost throwing themselves at this Terran force. Definitely not the place you want to be. One missed Psystorm. This is going to be difficult for Grubby to deal with it. He does not have enough Psystorm to deal with that Marine Bio Ball, but I think he's going to be able to deal with it. He does have no Psystorms left actually, but he is going to have a lot of Zealots and Stalkers to deal with this. 2-2 upgrades against 1-1 upgrades with Force Fields and Sentries. I think Grubby is going to be in a fantastic position right now. I think Grubby has taken the game exactly, and so does the Terran player. That is the GG, ladies and gentlemen. Things that I enjoyed in this game. I did like the use of dropships by the Terran player. I definitely thought that was the way to go. However, Grubby was just staying up on economy the whole time. He was anticipating the Terran players' moves fantastically. Definitely using that Warcraft 3 skill of having excellent micro and excellent anticipation. I think that helps him fantastically as a StarCraft 2 player. Look at the amount of zealots that he has here. He knew that just in case his Colossus would get sniped out, he still has a zealot ball charging at that bio ball while the sentries are going to be able to split him up with the stalkers firing away at them. Blink not yet upgraded at this game at all. That is one thing I think Grubby should have focused his energy on a little bit, because Blink definitely going to help against defending against these dropships. But maybe he got a little bit lucky this game in anticipating exactly where he was going to be. Maybe he's just that good. It's possible. But I think Blink would have been a nice maneuver. I think the Terran player should have been expanding a little bit more aggressively to stay up to date with the to stay up on par with the Protoss player. I think Marauders were a good call. He definitely overcommitted himself on Vikings because he wasn't scouting enough. The Templar Archives he knew was coming, but he probably was anticipating more Colossus to come as well. But Grubby stopped making those Colossus pretty much after he got 3 of them, and that was about it. So Grubby definitely did a good job here. Fantastic player. I love watching him play. The Terran player did a good job as well, using those dropships. Good early assaults, good early defense, good early pick, but I think he just kind of faltered in the late game. Grubby definitely outplayed him. So that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Spread the word for Maze Esports, and rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.